Hello YouTube, this is Matt Pullen, and I am as surprised as you are that I have not lost a live Blitz game on chess.com yet. I'm way too unprepared at this point to be winning all these games, but I don't know. Let's go on another adventure. Seek a 5-2 game. I'm playing someone 1774, I'm 1691. Okay, so let's try the e4. The e4s. Alright, so it's a center counter. Is he going to play queen takes or knight f6? Alright, so I don't play knight c3, I play knight f3 with the idea of building a pawn center with d4 and c4. Alright, so he's playing knight c6, so he's playing for the e5 right away. So playing with d4 is kind of risky here. Instead, I'm just going to castle. And then, I don't know, do I play h3 here or knight c3? Or maybe d3. I'll play d3 and bring the knight to d2. So I'm playing a very slow setup, maybe a little passive, but I forgot like how it's supposed to work out, like against the against his knight c6 castles queenside setup. Is he threatening to play e4 here? Can I play knight g5? Knight g5, bishop takes, queen takes. And then, well, that doesn't really threaten anything because his queen's on f7. I'm starting to think this is not such a good setup for me. Maybe h3, and then meet bishop takes with bishop f3. Yes, he's going to play bishop h5 though. Yeah, I did not play this variation particularly well. I mean, there's some. I think I have to be more aggressive. Like I have to play like d4 and c3. But yeah. So all right. So let's just say I'm giving him opening odds. So I'm allowing him to have an opening advantage. He's got a space advantage. He's got this queen on d5 that can no longer easily drive away. And he's potentially breaking up my center with pawn to e4. All right, so bishop f3 hits the queen, and the queen is going back to d7, so knight d4 is a possibility here. Can I just play knight b3 to discourage knight d4? And he plays e4. I can take because I have two defenders on my queen. So, seems legit. I could not play c3 because then my d3 pawn would be hanging. So knight f6 is an obvious move for him, trying to push through with the e4. But no, he does not do that. Can I play the bishop to g5? No, he probably just moves his rook and then plays h6, gaining time. Can I play c3 now because my d3 pawn is less attacked? So c3, and then my d3 pawn is loose. So if he drops the bishop back to e7, well, how would I defend that pawn? I'd have to play d4, wouldn't I? And that's probably losing material. Well, I'll bring the rook to the open file, or is half open, I guess, my half open file, to support the e4 square. And then maybe I can try and play c3 d4. All right, so now he's brought the knight out, so I can I can pin his knight. It helps me to get pieces off the back rank when I'm sort of cramped in like this. I don't necessarily want to trade the bishop for the knight if he plays h6, but I guess I will. Anyway, so yeah, can I play c3 here with the idea of playing d4? I think, yeah, I have to do something. So c3 with the idea of d4. All right, so he's on that's a good move. He's on the g2 now. So if he pushes to e4 and I move my bishop away, my g2 pawn will only be defended by my king. So can I push g3 and then pull the bishop back to g2? I don't want to put my king on h2 because then he has push for a discovered check. Can I just play king h1 with the idea of maybe rook g1? Sure. I think that would be prudent. Because otherwise, he maybe has threats of playing f4 and, queen taking on h3. But now I can bring my rook to g1 and sort of cover that, cover all the, pin threats. Could I have put my bishop on d5 and attack the rook? Well, no, the bishop isn't really doing anything useful on d5, and a dark square bishop move of him would attack my bishop. See, now the d3 pawn is under attack. So what do I want to do about that? If I push to d4, takes, and his queen is tied to his bishop, so he can't win a pawn immediately. But what if he pushes to e4? Then I want to play my bishop, I think, to e2 in order to go back to f1. Alright, so I'll play this. Is he going to take or is he going to lock it up? Alright, so he didn't spend too much time on that, so I think I will go to e2 now. So this kingside stuff is temporarily, unprotected. So if he pushes to, alright, can I play just bishop f1, or do I want to play, the rook to g1 first? That's the question here. So do I want necessarily to have... I'll put my queen on... So I'll just preemptively put my bishop on f1 to guard the g2 pawn. And then maybe I want to play my queen to... See, the thing is, the bishop is coming back to d6, so I can't stick my queen on f4. So I want to watch out for possibilities of him taking with his queen on h3 and then playing, the rook to g1 for checkmate, after playing bishop d6. So I have to be very aware for defensive possibilities. Or maybe I can play, like, knight c5 and, prompt him to take with bishop, or lose a tempo with his queen. Like knight to c5 followed by pawn to b4. And all of a sudden I'm threatening, like, pawn to b5 and gaining some tempo and attacking chances against his king. But I'm rather undeveloped, but knight c5 is definitely a move that I'm looking at playing to sort of get my queenside pawns rolling. Let's see, bishop to d6. So now if I play knight c5 and he plays bishop takes, pawn takes, see, my queen is sufficiently guarded. So I'm not quite worried about that. So there, and then if he plays queen takes, I'm going to rook take, and we'll take stock of the position after that. He'll probably move his queen away, and be threatening my queen, but then I can just play like queen a4. Or do I want my queen closer to the king side? No, I definitely want to play queen a4 and try and get something going against his king. Queen a4 and then push b4, b5. Alright, so he's threatening the c5 pawn. And, alright, that's actually very smart. Can I play queen b3 here with the idea if he takes c5, I play queen e6 check, does that do anything for me? Yeah, because I think I can take f6. But he takes f2 then. Alright. No, because oh yeah, that's right, he can take on f2. And I can take on h6. So, queen b3 gets my queen out of danger. And, of course, he could play rook d2 here. That's very strong. Rook d2. And he's playing there to prevent the check. And then maybe I can play queen c4 to guard the pawn. So, queen c4, guarding my pawn, and I want to play pawn b5, pawn b4, pawn b5. I'm down to like a minute here. I expect rook d2 to come in at some point, because that's very good. Alright, the knight's coming in. That's also good. Queen b4, I think. Introducing possibilities of pawn to c6. Only I can't even play pawn to c6, because then he just plays knight takes. Possibilities of bishop a... there really aren't any good possibilities for me to attack his king using only... because my bishop is very important on g2. Well, he's forking me, I have to take this. And he cannot take with pawn because it's pinned to his queen. So he's got to take with rook, right? And now I can play, I push c6, he's got to take, and then I take. Yeah, this is just straight up bad. I'll play there to deny him rook d2. 37 seconds left. Can I get some kind of play here? I want to push my a pawn. That should give me some type of counterplay. Make use of the rook on a1. He'll probably play like a6 to stop it, and then what do I do? Queen b6, rook a4, rook b4. I'm very concerned about the lack of defenses on my king side. So he's threatening take on g2. I have to guard that. Oh, no, I can't because he, rook takes for, yeah. So I have to play, I don't know, rook a3. But then he just takes on g2. Yeah, this is bad. Alright, he's probably going to rook capture this, isn't he? Rook capture, I can play rook a3 to try and defend laterally. See, he should rook g take, and then I can't pawn take because then queen takes, and he's like threatening mate on, or threatening to take with mate. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna take. If he sacks on g3, I'll take, and I'll play rook a3 because my queen is holding on to both of my rooks, and I'll just try not to get mated. All right, he's working hard trying to find a way out. I'm just gonna play for time, basically. If he takes, I'm taking with pawn. I mean, he's got perpetual check here at least. Can I get out of it by playing this? No, I can't because he just has queen f3 check. Oh no, does he have queen h2 check? Well, I have to do this. He mates me. No, he doesn't, because... Alright, queen f3 check, and I go back here. What check does he have now? He's running very low on time. Does he have any win here at all? I'm up a rook here. But I should have taken with queen, shouldn't I? So he has a draw in this position. So if he claims a draw, then... I should have taken with queen. Well, if I had taken with queen, then my rook on e1 would have been hanging. So, yeah. Well, I still gained points from that, I guess. So, yeah, that was a live Blitz game where I did not play the opening particularly well, but I was able to hang on somehow. Anyway, have a good one, YouTube.